I want to read the first sentence. Until we give up the need to defend ourselves, we will find it impossible to truly communicate with one another, to defend ourselves.
Correct.
To be right.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. I didn't realize this, but all of my life I was doing that. Why? I didn't know this either. I felt inadequate. So the only thing that I could do is make sure that I was superior to other people. And the way I thought you'd do that is by arguing to be right. Now, the other thing that occurred to me finally when I woke up is, no one on this planet, this is great, it came to me like I just heard these words, no one on this planet ever learned anything by being right. Because if you're right, you already know it. Which meant I was never learning anything. I was growing older, I looked different, but I never learned anything about who I am, what my purpose is on the planet. Now, getting that was a big awakening. Also, my relationships were strained. I mean, if you want to spend most of your time blaming, like I did, other people so you could be right, then you have conflict. That's what the world is locked in. So you can't even grow. You literally stunt your growth so you could be right. You got to be the biggest fool on the planet. And we're all fools, because that's what most people are doing.
Well, what do you mean? Just be a doormat? Let people just walk all over you, kick you as they go by? Let everybody be right, and you are nothing?
I wouldn't say that if you're willing to allow other people to express their upset or need to be right, that you're a nothing. In anything, you are probably grown and are much bigger than all the people around you, because you have an absolute certainty of who you are. There's no need to interact in conflict. But what you can do in that situation is assist another person in feeling that they no longer have to be right and that they are adequate. You see, that's the key. People are adequate. People are powerful human beings. So if you come from your heart, if you express love, that person, and this is the truth because I saw it in my relationship with my wife, you create harmony. That person eases. There's a sense of ease, a balance. And all of a sudden, we can sit relaxed and we can actually have a good time, and we no longer have to worry about how we look to the other person, what you think of me, how can I make it right for you. Everything is perfectly okay. No conflict. What a wonderful place to live.
Well, you know, I think one of the reasons that many of us have to be right is that we have such a big investment of time in this certain position that to let it go would be like such a failure. It would be like wiping out a whole part of our lives.
Right. And also, when you do that is you have a belief system, and you lived on those beliefs, and you use them for your survival. That's your stability. Beliefs that may not be true and usually are not. So you fight to be right about a belief so you don't lose your positioning. Because if someone comes in and says, listen, what you believed all of your life, guess what? It's not true. People have fear because they don't know what to rely on. And that's when you have to get in touch with your inner being, that inner part of you that says it's okay to learn something new, to hold on to your past, which is what people do, never allows you to move forward. So people would rather hold on to adversity, literally, negativity.
The devil we have,
right,
rather than the devil we're going to get.
Because I am so afraid of not knowing where I'm going, I would rather stay in hell than to even consider the possibility of letting go and not knowing in an instant where am I headed. I'd rather hold on to this terrible negativity. People do it in relationships, they do it in everything in their lives, just so I know what tomorrow will bring, when in fact we're creative beings. And if you let go, your life, look at my life, look where it went. It went on its own. I decided to have faith in letting the flow take me rather than defend my beliefs. And my life is transformed, and that's why I'm here with you. And I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. I mean that.
Well, I'm very happy to have the opportunity. The part about being right, not many people have approached in their books before. The only book I really have seen it in is in A Course in Miracles.
Great piece of work.
And it says, would you rather be right or happy?
Well, that doesn't, see that, yeah, right. And that doesn't give you
Somebody
enough.
out there in the audience saying, I want to be right and happy.
And happy.
Can we be right and happy?
Sure you can, if you understand the right truth about who you are, but with a misconception about who you are and clinging to fear and creating beliefs that limit you, debilitate you, no, you can't. You can't. And the odd thing is that people are going to continue to go and hang on to a fear that doesn't feed them. I mean, laboratory mice, this is true, I say this in lectures, everybody knows this. A laboratory mouse, after the third time going down a maze that doesn't find cheese, you know what? It doesn't go anymore. Human beings are the only people who continue to go down the road, and they keep getting nothing. Why in the world would you do that?
The people who stay in relationships.
Right.
And they get nothing. And they're still going down that same tunnel, trying to get something.
So it's a matter of knowing that if you were to let go, there is a force in the universe that you can depend on. That the universe is literally working with you.
Well, you know, my experience is that when you give it to the universe, they don't get back to you fast enough.
Thank you. Well, that's sometimes true. Okay. But it comes back, doesn't it?
I want it in my time frame. You know, I'm willing to give it over to God.
Right.
And to the universe, or whatever you want to call universal force. But, you know, in 20 minutes, if they haven't done anything, I take it back.
I have to admit that having quit my job, left all my income behind, I too say to myself, okay, I did it. Now, when does it come? The fact is it's starting to come. You have to be patient. And I say to people who say, well, you know, if I give everything up and I do service, then life will work. I say, well, wait a second. Make sure that you can afford to pay the bills. Don't assume that the instant you finally cross over, that's what I like to call it. It's like a quantum leap. Don't assume that the instant you do that, that all of a sudden money just comes and it pays the bills because now you're a loving person. You still have to keep your head on your shoulders. It's a physical world.
Still pay your car insurance.
Absolutely. Because I know people who said to me, I heard what you said, I quit everything. I said, no, no, no. You know, I had some money in the bank. I worked at this. You know, I worked at making my life work. I dedicated my life to this, and this is my life's work.
So all the people who are out there saying, you know, do what you love and the money will follow?
Yes. However, everyone, and I'm glad you brought that up because that always, you know, when I hear that, it's like, gee, I wish I could tell people this. Yes, it will happen, but remember, it's not always on your time.
The other thing I hear a lot from people is, I'd like to be spiritual, but I've got to make a living. I mean, those are the two ends of the spectrum in the whole personal growth community these days.
I understand. What I would say to people, and I felt the same way, and here I was as a banker, you can absolutely make a living doing what you love to do. It doesn't have to be making a living to make a living. The difference between work and play, and I wrote about that in the book, it's a frame of mind. People generally hate what they do, and they say they do it for money. There isn't anything that any of us do on this planet that isn't serving God. There's one force, one energy, one consciousness. When you realize that, everything you do is basically serving God. So people don't have to get up like I did in the morning, hate their job, hate going in, because it's all service. It's a frame of mind.
So why didn't you stay with the bank?
Because I had a powerful feeling.
Bankers, people who go to bankers need love too.
Yeah, sure they do. And you want to know the truth? I was lucky. I had an opportunity to assist people with their mortgages who couldn't pay their mortgages. And so we were able to rewrite those mortgages and assist them in staying in their homes. I was one of the fortunate ones who just happened, luck, there's no luck. I happened to fall into the right place. I was able to do that kind of service. This is more direct.
Well, I'll tell you, you are a wonder. You're a wonder, and I'm glad you came.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking to George Lavenia, author of What You Think is What You Get, a book that will definitely make you think. We bring you only the most important new messengers in publishing on this show, authors who care about you. Keep coming back.